Hi guys! Today I want to talk about 3 unconventional tactics that you can use to get free exposure for your blog or website. So, if you don't have a bunch of money to spend on advertising, how are you going to get anyone to pay attention to you? It's the first big problem of being online and trying to promote your business. So there are 3 different things I have discovered in my ventures of trying to get the world to notice me. One is called Herro. H-A-R-O, and you can Google it. It's basically stands for Help a Reporter Out, and it blends old-fashioned traditional media, enormous news outlets, with the web and with all of the people that can contribute to stories. So for every story written, they need sources. They need people that are doing what they're trying to write about, or know someone, or knows information. Journalists have tight deadlines, and they have a lot of things that they need to report on. So Herro utilizes large email lists, and Twitter primarily to connect journalists to potential sources for their stories. And it covers every range of topics, everything from moms trying to figure out what to feed their autistic children to realtors that want to comment on the recent downturn in housing sales or the rise in foreclosures. So the reason that this will help you out is because if you follow it, eventually you will find a story, a reporter looking for something that you know something about. And then you can respond and you can be in that article, which will, if it's online, it will help your SEO. It'll give you a powerful backlink, and it gives you some credibility. I mean, if you're quoted in the New York Times, that's really powerful. I started following Herro, and within 24 hours, I had a phone interview with a Wall Street journalist who wanted to talk about the economy and young people and finding creative jobs and entrepreneurialism and things like that. So it's a really, really cool resource. The other thing that I found is, like anything else, the more you help other people out, the more they're likely to help you or to know that you're not just out to take advantage of them. By subscribing to Herro's newsletter, which I get between once and twice a day, it covers every topic. I'm usually able, at least once a week, to forward it along to someone else I know. So I'm friends with Frank Trigg, the pro MMA fighter, and someone was writing a story on pro MMA fighters. Of course, I forwarded to him, said if you want this little bit of exposure, you should comment. You could be in this article. And so that's just a nice way to give back to the other people that you work with every day, and show them that you're thinking of them and kind of pass it along if you see an opportunity for them. So the first thing is Herro. I would get on their newsletter list, and I would start following them on Twitter and see if once in a while you can get yourself featured in some major publications that are on and offline. There's a lot of credibility to traditional news outlets that you can't find by being featured on just on someone else's blog. So it's great to still kind of find your way in there sometimes. Similarly is the idea of newsjacking. So this is the name of a book that just came out by a man named David Meerman Scott. I have notes, so I'm reading this. But it's really, really interesting. He did a great interview with Copyblogger on the Copyblogger podcast radio. If you don't follow Copyblogger, you need to. If you don't follow Copyblogger podcast, you need to. So go to Copyblogger podcast on iTunes and download their interview with David Meerman Scott about newsjacking, and you'll learn a lot. But the basic idea is the same concept, that you want to get yourself into news online, but also into traditional news outlets. So the news that you see on TV, or major websites like Wall Street Journal, New York Times. There's just a different sense of trust and credibility, and to have yourself quoted, especially in your area of expertise, on one of these enormous, media conglomerates will give you a whole new level of credibility with your niche. So the basic idea of newsjacking is that it's the same need. Journalists are always looking for sources for their stories, and by following current events and by following these journalists and these reporters on Twitter and on other live time social networking sites, when a story is hot and they need to have something out that day or the next day about it, you can come in and say, wait, I know about this, and be that source that they're looking for. So it's better than going up to someone that doesn't want to hear what you have to say. It's going to someone that needs what you have to say and needs to say it now. So the art to newsjacking is you have to be on top of the news. You have to know what's happening, and you have to be ready to pounce at a moment's notice. But it's free, and it could be an incredible source of authority. It could be an incredible source of traffic to your website if suddenly you become mixed in with this. The other thing that can happen that you could use to your advantage if you really get creative, as part of his newsjacking, this is part of the theory, that not only can you become a source for the news that's happening, but you can take news and become a part of it. So he used the example in the podcast, and I listened to it months ago, so I don't remember the details, but of Obama was traveling, and he was traveling somewhere really dangerous, and the insurance company out there covered him for free for something like a crocodile attack or something silly. Now that's free for them because they can just create this policy, give it to Obama free of charge. But it's this great story. It's this great way to kind of piggyback on the fact that Obama's making this trip and show off the fact that they have these crazy kinds of insurance, and to get their name in the news all over in the press for free, because that's a really cute story. That's a fun way to cover Obama's trip. Meanwhile, he's being, covered for alligator insurance. So by making yourself a part of the news, what does your business do, and what can you do for free to be, to get yourself kind of in the limelight with whatever is happening right now? The third way to get free exposure is something that I've talked about before, and I will talk about it again, and that is guest blogging. Guest blogging is where you provide content for a blogger that is either your size or bigger than you. And by writing for them, you are exposed to their audience, and you are provided really valuable backlinks, really incredible feedback. It's basically the most effective source of free advertising. Most people that are big bloggers or have really effective content marketing online will reference guest blogging as one of the major ways they grew their website. Leo of Zen Habits often talked about how in the beginning of Zen Habits, which is now one of the largest websites in the world, he was writing a guest blog a day. Now that I cannot imagine, but it's a real testament to how valuable it is, or else no one would put that sort of time into an advertising strategy or a marketing strategy. And the reason it's so powerful is because you demonstrate your value to an audience that wants to listen, rather than just trying to bug people and get people to notice you. If you are interested in newsjacking, you should check out David Meerman Scott. If you are interested in Herro, you should check out their website. And if you are interested in guest blogging, you need to look at John Morrow's guest blogging program. I am biased. I am an assistant for it, but I'm an assistant for it and put my time there because I do think that it is the best resource for learning these strategies and learning these tactics. John Morrow is the associate editor of Copyblogger, which is one of the largest, most respected sites in the world. So working with him is an honor, and watching him work with his students is incredible. The things he did for me and my site cannot be overstated. So I will put all those links in the bottom of this video, and I hope that that was helpful and maybe gave you guys some interesting new ideas for how to utilize traditional media sources as well as other bloggers and networking with other people in your field. So that's all for now, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.